Alright, so today I'm going to be putting my Camaro to sleep. I have a 1995 Z28 convertible, and I've had it for about 20 years now. It's old, it's nothing special, it doesn't not really work too much, but every year I usually put a cover on it and pump up the tires, get it parked. The battery's been dead in it, so I have it on a trickle charger right now, and I think I gotta pull it off so I can start it so I can move it and get it ready for winter, because I'm not driving it in the winter. Yep, there she is. So time to unplug this and see if she starts. It's been charging for about a day or two, so hopefully I can get this thing started. Yeah, a little bit of moisture on the window. Not liking that. Might have to let this thing dry out, put some desiccant in here or something. Alright, so let's pop the hood. Let's get that charger disconnected. Yeah. Get this thing unplugged. Yeah, this is actually going to go back on it before I put the cover on. I just need to get it out of here so it doesn't melt when I start the car. Alright, so will she start? Come on. Right. So now I'm at my Trailblazer now. And I'm going to get out some... I think I have a pump back here. Get those tires inflated. Well, if anyone's looking to know what I run in my truck, just a couple of pair of 12s, kicker comp type R's, nothing special and expensive, and it's just got a 1505 running it. That's all I need. At my age, I don't need to be killing my ears any more than I have as when I was younger. To be honest, I don't really like these too well much, but they do work. But they sometimes will blow the fuse in your fuse panel if you don't have a good connection, which these things just suck for connections. Yep, tires are at about 24.5. I like to run them at about 32, so they're a little low. Plus it's cold, it tends to lose a little bit of pressure, so I'm going to get these back up to 32. Maybe 34. Forget how to start this damn thing. Alright, so I'm just taking this out for one last ride before I put her away. I still got some condensation on the windows. I think I got a gasket leak on the top, but it's not bad for 144,000 miles on this car. It's got some suspension issues. I got some rattling I have to fix. I think it's got to do with the sway bar end links, but yeah, it's not bad. This thing screws. Not bad for an old car. 1995. Still got a lot of life left in it. Motor's still strong. Like I said, it's got 144,000. I've had about 2 or 3 transmissions in it over its life, due to maybe some beatings it's taken in my younger days, but I think ever since I put the last one in about 10 years ago, I babied it. I knew this car was getting old. So it's been really nice, but that's it. I'm gonna have to put the top on this next and get it ready for winter. But it's like to get things moving before I put her away for 4 months. I don't like to let cars sit, but fortunately, since I have a long commute and it's a lot of traffic, this thing is a gas guzzler, so it doesn't get much use during the week. I have an old Kenwood in here. I think I fixed that one a couple of times. I still got some weird issue where it won't display anything, but it's got to do with the contacts on the back of the radio. the faceplate where it meets the radio, and I just haven't had the time to deal with it. I'll probably just go in there with a Q-tip and some alcohol and get that problem solved. But other than that, it's not a bad radio. I did have a full system in this at one point, but I had a leak in my trunk and I had submerged my 2 MTX amplifiers that were in there that I've had since mid-90s, and I loved them. My MTX 4300X and I think a 250X. They sounded great in this thing. The only thing I didn't like about it, those amplifiers, were they didn't really have a good shutdown on them. They left the amps pretty much the idle current for just having them hooked up but not the remote lead turned on was very high. So if this thing sat for like a couple of months or a month maybe, it would be just stone dead. I never had that with my other amps. It would last a lot longer, but there is some idle current that will eventually drain your battery if you store your car. So if you're storing your car, it's probably a good idea just to disconnect your positive lead to, or pull the fuse to your system, because it will definitely save your battery. I keep this on a tender anyway, so it's not all that bad. But if you're storing it without a tender, I would definitely disconnect the radio system, the stereo system. You don't have to do anything with the radio. Just kill the power supply lead to the amplifiers. And also, when I had the water in my trunk, it didn't help that the power was still hooked up to it, so it was like electrolysis inside the amps, and it kind of made a mess out of it. But you can look back in my older videos to see those repairs and what they looked like when I pulled them out. It was pretty nasty. Alright, so I usually get one of these, and they have like a 10-year warranty, but they don't last 10 years my butt. These things don't last for crap, as far as I can tell. I've had these things, if you buy the cheaper version of this, I think it's like $20 cheaper. I get one season out of it and the thing's torn to shreds. This I tend to get sometimes between 1 to 3 years out of these. They're not cheap either. They're like $80. And I have not tried to claim a warranty yet on them, but probably should be at this point. They're kind of like a breathable material. I don't see how they, at least in New England, the weather with the winds and the snow and everything else. I mean, these are probably not made for high winter storage or a cover for winter and snow. So that might be my problem. But for these, if I get more expensive ones, it's just they don't tend to breathe very well. And I don't want to keep the moisture in there. I like to be able to breathe. So yeah, I'm just gonna go to the Old Faithful here and put this one on, and hopefully it lasts a couple years. But what I usually do is I'll tie a string underneath the midsection of the car to tie it across, because these things like to blow off very easy. And sometimes I'll try and rig up some tie downs for the front and the rear so the wind doesn't pick up and fold the whole thing over the car, which this is done many times as well, because after about a year or two, the elastic band, the waistband that goes around the car, it tends to loosen up and get stretched, and it doesn't work as well. So let's see how this goes. The one I found that fits for this car is a size 3, and why is this a gray inside? I hope this is not the wrong one. I hope that's just a cover. These are supposed to be this material, not this material. We'll find out. Okay, so it turns out it's just the straps. That's a good thing. I was hoping they weren't going to pack the wrong one. So yeah, you gotta kind of they vacuum pack these, so you never get them back in the same bag. At least I never do. So I have to unfold this and get it all stretched out. It should be labeled on top which side's the front or the rear. At least the ones I've had in the past say so. Let's hook the battery back up to the charger. Slide that into here. Usually I put it right about there and just plug in the 110. Just tuck that down in there so it doesn't get wet. Yeah, what I'll usually do is put this rubber membrane on the ground, because like these old Chevys, they do leak oil out of the oil pan gasket a little bit, and they put some boards under the tires so it doesn't try to deform the asphalt over time. It does seem to help a little bit. You've learned from the first few years I've done this, it started to put a little indent in the asphalt, so this kind of evens the load out a little bit better. And that's about it for trying to long-term storage on this. And I'm just gonna put the cover on next. So I always laugh at this every time I take them apart. I take these out of the box because they look like just a leave bag. And all these wrinkles do come out once the sun and water hit it, but I think that's usually where you put the front. Typically is where that logo is. Now to stretch this over the car and kind of get it formed over. Yeah, so that's basically it. Now all I have to do left is put some dry gas in the or some stabilizer in the gas tank before I tie this down. But let's tie these loops one to the other side underneath the middle of the car, and we'll see how that goes. Otherwise I'm gonna have to try and tie down the front and back as well when the wind blows. So that's it. Just playing around here this Sunday afternoon. So we'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.